Kia ora koutou tawhakahua whānau. When I was starting out in photography, it'll be a beautiful sunny day, and I think, great, now's a terrific time to take photos. But then I started to hear photographers say, oh my gosh, the light is so terrible. And I'd look outside and think, what on earth are they talking about? So what were they talking about? Well, you may be starting out in photography or it's something you've been doing for a while, but you may well have heard people say, oh my gosh, the light is terrible today. And you look outside and it's a beautiful, clear, sunny day, and you're trying to figure out what on earth do they mean the light looks absolutely perfect, bright, sunny, absolutely fantastic, beautiful weather. And you're just thinking to yourself, what is all this about? And then after a time, I figured it out. And then the flip side to this would be, I'd be due to take photos of people, perhaps, and they'd call me up or text and say, oh gosh, today's a terrible day, it's all overcast and cloudy. And I'd say, oh, no way, it's absolutely perfect. And they'd look at me like I was absolutely balmy. So what is going on here? Well, as you know, photography is a lot about light, and so that naturally makes you think that the more light, the better. So on a beautiful, bright, sunny day, you may well think that it's going to be perfect conditions to take photographs of people or whatever it is you're photographing. But in actual fact, it's not quite perfect. It actually makes it a lot more difficult when it's bright and sunny. I keep on pointing out here because it's a beautiful sunny day today, but although that may be your first perception, it's just not quite right. I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to show you a couple of examples here to illustrate what I mean. Now, the thing is with a bright sunny day, and particularly around the middle of the day, is that the sun is directly overhead, shining straight down upon your subject or upon the person or whatever it is you're photographing. And that can create some unnatural results in terms of the photographs you end up with. Now, if I show you this first picture here, it's of a couple I took some photographs of in the botanical gardens here in Wellington a couple of years ago. And these photos were taken during the middle of the day. And as you can see instantly that there's a whole heap of unnatural shadows cast across the faces of these two wonderful people. And it's creating shadows right across the groom-to-be's face there, right around the corner of his mouth, under his eyes, and it also creates hot spots, generally on the forehead or around the cheeks or the parts that are projecting up towards the sun. Not only do the photos look a little bit unnatural and uneven, they're also really, really hard to edit. And so that is the primary reason why a bright sunny day is just not ideal for shooting photographs. That is why photographers will say, oh, the light is terrible, the light is so harsh. And that is also why photographers will look to take photos early in the morning where the sun is at a more lateral angle shining onto your subject or in a more even fashion. Now, of course, you don't want the sun to be too low because it's unnatural to be lit from a lower angle. You want it sort of coming in on a gentle diagonal angle onto your subject. But also, if it's bright sunshine, it can end up being pretty harsh. So now let's look at another example here with the same couple. Now this photograph here, it was the same time of day, but we actually moved into an area that was slightly shaded by trees and other things, which makes a much more natural result. And you can see it instantly in the photograph. The shadows are eliminated, the faces are more obvious to see, it makes it more appealing to look at, and it also makes it easier for you to edit. Okay, another example, these 6 ladies here, the bride squad. As you can see, once again, we've got the issue with the unnatural or the uneven shadows falling across the face, and that's because the sun was very harsh and bright on this particular day, and it was sitting basically right up ahead. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But if we look at this photo here, which was taken slightly later, and from a slightly different angle, you can see the shadows are much more natural and more appealing on the faces. So that, in a nutshell, is the reason why bright sunny days in the middle of the day are not so great for photography. Let's have a look at another example here. In this photo here, you can see the sun is very hot and shining directly onto the subject and creating hot spots on the forehead and on the chin and around the cheeks. And it also creates that weird chroma effect where it's quite bright or over bright. But whereas if you look at this shot, which was a little bit later with a little bit more cloud cover, you can see it's more natural and looks more appealing and there's less of those shadows. So once again, a demonstration that the harsh bright light is often not what you're looking for. Here's another example here. Now these photos were taken about mid-morning, and once again it's very harsh bright light. I knew right away it wasn't going to be great for photography, but sometimes you just have to get on and do the photos. And you can see here it's creating a hot spot on the foreheads and on the tops of the cheeks, and also some unnatural shadows, and also the angle of the light is cutting off light from the lower part of the photograph. Whereas if you have a look at this photo here, which was taken early in the morning, the sun coming in at a more diagonal angle, there are no shadows on the face, it's nice and obvious to see, nice and clear, a much more appealing photo to look at overall. Okay, one more example. This is from a wedding, and this once again was taken just after midday, probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And as you can see, it's creating a hot spot around the side of the face and also shadows from about the nose down, and the exposure is not very even across the photograph. But if you look at this example here where the bride was turned into a different direction, the shadows are gone from the face and it's much more even lighting. To be honest, it does take a little bit of time to be able to pick this when you're taking photographs, but you start to be able to learn what you're looking for on your subject when you take the photos. So certainly don't be dismayed or think that you have to get it perfect right away. I don't get it perfect. I don't think I ever have, and probably I never will. Who knows? Maybe, but it all just takes practice and knowledge and recognition of what you're seeing through the viewfinder when you're about to take the photo. If we have a look at another example in good light here, you can see from this photo here of this young chap that the light is nice and even, it's nice and soft, and this was taken on an overcast day. And in fact, this lad's mother thought it was going to be a terrible day for taking photographs, but I thought it was going to be terrific. The reason being there was cloud cover over the sun. And what that means when it's overcast is the clouds actually act like a diffuser or a light modifier, much like this here. It modifies the light falling onto the subject. So this is basically what a cloud would do, just break up the light and diffuse it and spread it more evenly across your subject. And that's why we have things like softboxes or light modifiers to diffuse and spread the light when you're taking photos using artificial lighting or flash photography. It's all just about diffusing and spreading the light more evenly over your subject. Another example here of great light, this young lad here and his little baby brother, just in really nice even light on that same particular overcast day. I mean, you don't want it to be heavy clouds where it's going to be so dark. Just a nice overcast day is absolutely perfect for photography. That's actually it. I've answered the questions. Why do photographers say a beautiful day is terrible for photography? And why is an overcast day actually perfect? There you go. That's it. It's about diffusing, breaking up the light, giving you more even, natural results so you can get more appealing photos and make them much more easy for you to edit after the fact. Nothing else to say on that. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll catch you next time. Bye.